What's happening, everybody? Matt here, but you can call me Matub, and welcome to Hottest Take of the Week, show where I look at dumb stuff on the internet. Sometimes I talk about it. And this week, we officially have the first 3 Packers training camp practices in the books. Now, what does that mean? That means a lot of players in shorts, and a lot of people drawing a lot of conclusions. I had some other takes that I could have looked at earlier in the week, but some of them kind of sorted themselves out. There was a rumor going around that the Packers were going or could potentially trade for Julio Jones, but while he was discussing his contract problems, it really didn't make any sense. And then he did, and so, well, I should say, and then he fixed his contract. So now, honestly, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to trade for Julio Jones. So, no longer a hot take. But we're going to start off with, I guess we're going to look at training camp kind of chronologically. And the very first thing that happened was Devon House showed up to training camp dressed like a minion. Like, why? Just, what's the point? I don't know. And honestly, that wasn't real good omen for House, as he kind of got worked the last couple days. So, So as is kind of a camp tradition at this point, Aaron Rodgers starts off by his very first pass getting picked off. And what happened on the internet? Everyone lost their freaking minds. Apparently, throwing a pick in practice means that Aaron Rodgers is washed. It's already Kaiser season. Hashtag Kaiser season. I really hate when people say season. Hashtag people saying season too much season. Also, I already saw one comment saying that it was Danica's fault, because apparently that's still a thing. That's just, I don't want to talk about that anymore. Moving on. After starting out last year as the starting star position, Quentin Rollins kind of got relegated to nothingness after, also getting hurt. This year, he's getting time at the Nitro Package inside linebacker. I guess if you're not a corner and you're not a safety, sure, let's just see if you can play inside linebacker, I guess. I don't know. Badger Noonan over at Acme Packing Company famously says there's no such thing as a second base prospect. There are only shortstop prospects that aren't good enough to play shortstop. And inside linebackers, I guess, are the same thing. If you're an inside linebacker, you're not good enough to be an outside linebacker, and now you are no longer good enough to also play safety. Undrafted free agent Jake Camaro thought that it was a good idea to show up into the huddle before realizing that it was first team reps. Ooh, whoops. I really love the way Nigler put this. He was in the offensive huddle, looked around and realized it was the starting group, and quickly excused himself to the sideline. Love that kid. And to quote Eurotrip,
"Hey, this isn't where I parked my car."
However, the next day, Camaro showed up during 2-minute drills when he caught a leaping sideline grab from Hundley while they were under pressure. So maybe Camaro really liked being in that first team huddle, and he's working on getting back to it. No, he's not. So let's talk about Trevor Davis. Oh, Trevor Davis. Trevor Davis had his ups and downs last year. He's an absolute burner who also fair catches on the 4-yard line. So there's a lot to say about Trevor Davis. Last couple days, Trevor has seen time on special teams. And of course, as is tradition, while wearing shorts and no pads, Trevor Davis makes a diving catch on a bomb from Rodgers after having 2 steps on the defense. Okay. I predicted Trevor Davis not to make the roster this year, and the hype train was rolling yesterday. I'll tell you what, man. Everyone's like, oh, we didn't give enough time to Davis or credit, or we got to figure out how to use his speed. Yeah. I think Nagler said it best. He always looked good in shorts. Let's see if he can carry things over to when the pads come on. That is well put. That's well put. We can't really glean a lot off of players in shorts, but man, do Packer fans really try. However, as day 3 of Packers training camp began, we saw that Packers rookie MVS was actually kickoff returner number 1. So maybe if we can get someone to return punts, the Trevor Davis show is over, as I predicted on the Acme Packing Company roster predictions. There have been a lot of hype trains coming out of training camp or into training camp. And in fact, Michelle Bruton says that Jamon Moore is the new Jeff Janis, #hype train. I disagree. There's only one next Jeff Janis, and that is Marquez Valdez-Scantling, because he has the athleticism, he has the grit, and he has the number. And in fact, according to Rob Domofsky, MVS had the catch of the day today. He made a leaping grab for a touchdown on a corner route from Brett Hundley. You know who else made leaping grabs on corner routes from Brett Hundley? That's what I thought. Michelle, don't disrespect next Janis. That's MVS. However, the hype train was slightly disrailed as another Packers rookie, Jair Alexander, caught up to MVS on a go route, who then knocked the pass away and then gave the old Hulk Hogan to the crowd. I'm really liking the swag that Alexander is bringing, and I can't wait to see him practice a little bit more. So, my bias often shows on a lot of things, and last year I was not a fan of Kyler Fackrell. In fact, I'm still not a big fan of Kyler Fackrell. After that one play against the Redskins when he got tossed, I kind of gave up hope on him. And yes, he had a blocked punt last year, and I'm probably not giving him a fair shake. But he did actually beat David Bakhtiari in a one-on-one drill, which, I mean, one of the best left tackles in the game. Prior to that, Fackrell was 1 for 30. So, even a blind dog can find his ass, even something about a squirrel and a nut, broken clock, all that stuff. I don't know. I need to see him put it together a little bit more than just one rep, because now he's 2 for 32, 2 for 31. Not great.
Not great, Bob.
And last, but certainly not least, what would training camp be without backup QB takes? There are currently 3 arms behind Aaron Rodgers: the veteran Brett Hundley, the recently traded for DeShone Kizer, and rookie Tim Boyle, who, according to Tom Silverstein, has been the most impressive Packers backup. Oh man, I'm sniffing. Does that smell like Taysom Hill to anyone else? Last year, Taysom Hill was the camp darling. However, people kind of forgot that he was like 27 years old, and he ended up landing on the Saints, where the Saints are still hyping him up as the heir apparent to Drew Brees. I disagree. If the Saints actually thought that he was going to be the next quarterback behind Drew Brees, they wouldn't use him as a punt gunner on special teams. If you think that a player is going to be the next great quarterback, you don't use him on special teams. And if you think that someone is going to be the best backup quarterback behind someone who already knows the system and someone who had starter reps last year for a different team, I gotta say that's a little smoky. Well, guys, no official ratings of the takes. As training camp rolls on, I'm really just going to more bring you the news. We're going to talk about, the takes coming out of camp. At the end, if something really comes out as a scorcher, I'll rate it. But this is more just reaction to the first time seeing football in a few months. And it's honestly been pretty good so far. But as I mentioned before, the dearly departed Jeff Janis, I think we should finally enshrine him in the Hot Take Hall of Fame. Moment of silence for Jeff Janis. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. As always, I'm Matt, but you can call me Matub, and go Pack Go.